Today I'm going to show you how to make the Mad Hatter from Alice in Wonderland, and in order to make him you will need about 75 of the dark green bands, 36 of the light green bands, 40 of an orange colored. I used the, I believe it's the neon rainbow loom opaque orange, and 52 of a skin colored band, 26 to 28 white bands, and 6 of the black bands. So if you want to grab your supplies, we can go ahead and get started. The first part that we're going to be making today is the hat for the Mad Hatter, and just to let you know, this is designed off of DIY Mommy's top hat video. I did speak with her and she told me I could use that in order to make the Mad Hatter's hat. So if you've seen the top hat video, then you already have a general idea of how we are going to make that. So we're going to actually do that with the loom in the squared position. And we are going to start by making the top part of the hat. So you're going to start up here with 2 bands, and you're coming from the center to the left, and the right to the center. You're then coming down 3 times on the left with 2 bands. Repeat that in the center. And also on the right. We're then going to switch to black bands, so 2 black bands coming down once on the left, once on the center, and coming down again on the right. And all these are 2 bands. We are going to cap these 3 pegs off, only creating 2 loops, but you want to use the dark green band. So it's 1, 2, 1, 2, and 1, 2. And we are then going to place a single band coming across the second left to the second right, the third left to the third right, and the 4th peg on the right to the 4th on the left. And this is what you should have. Once all of this is in place, we can go ahead and begin to loom. Because we only used a double loop on the capping band, you want to make sure to hold this band in place. Go in under the capping band and bring that up. And we're going to go ahead and loom all the way up to the top on the right. Bringing this top band to the center. And we then want to repeat the same step on the left. See, I didn't hold my band. And we can go ahead and bring this one also to the center. And then looming straight up the center. We're then going to take a single green going through the top, and create our slip knot. We then want to go ahead and remove this from the loom. And this is the top of the Mad Hatter's hat. From here we need to go ahead and create the brim part of the hat, and in order to do that you want to make sure we're going to use this portion of the loom down here, and you want to make sure you have an open gap in these pegs right here. So from these, like the 5th peg up to the 3rd peg from the bottom, make sure that is an open area. We are going to start on the 5th peg from the bottom, going to the 5th center peg with 2 bands. And you want to come down 4 times with double green bands. Repeating that on the left side. And then closing off this end. We're going to want to cap this bottom peg, creating 3 loops. So 1, 2, 3. Now instead of normal crossover bands, that's where the top piece comes in. On the bottom of each section you have your double cap from where we created the hat. You're going to place the top portion of the hat into the center, and then you want to grab one side of your each band and they're going to attach here and here. So the first set went on the 4th peg from the bottom. The middle set, you'll split that in between the 3rd peg from the bottom on the left and the 3rd peg in the center. And do the same thing for the last set of bands. Divide that between the 2nd peg and the 2nd peg. And then push that down. And this is what you should have. Once you've done that, we can go in under the capping band, grabbing the first 2 bands, bringing those to the right, and then go ahead and loom up the center row. Bringing the top bands back over to the left, and then go back in under our capping band, and loom this side up to the top. Then want to take a single green, going in under this corner, and we're going to create our slip knot. We can then go ahead and remove this from the loom. And this creates the top hat for the Mad Hatter. So we can set that aside for now. The next 2 parts that we are going to be working on are his hands and his feet. I've already made one of each, so I'm going to show you how to make the arm and the hand and the foot section. You will then have to just pause the video and make a second one. So to make the arm, we are going to start on the top left of the loom. We're going to come down with our orange 2 orange bands, and we're going to come down 4 times. So that's 2, 3, and 4. We're then going to create the hands, and in order to do so, you're going to take a single skin band, creating 4 loops on your hook. Take another skin, single double, pulling the fingertip on, taking another single double, we're then going to repeat that, so a single band, 4 loops, and doing a single double, single double, then taking another band, creating 4 more loops, taking a single double, oh, I lost my loops. And on the 3rd finger, I just do 1 to create more of a thumb. So we're going to take 1 more single double and pull all of our fingers on. Just like that. We are then going to use that here on the bottom as our capping band. And we can then go ahead and loop up to the top. And that creates our arm and hand. So go ahead and pause the video, make another arm, and then we'll move on to the foot. Now in order to create the foot, we're going to start at the top of the loom with 2 of the light green bands, and we'll come down 3 times with 2 bands. We're then going to switch to the dark green. The first one will be a single dark green. We're going to double it, and then 2 dark green bands, and then 3 dark green bands, and we are going to cap off this bottom peg, creating 4 loops. So 1, 2, 3, 4. We can then go ahead and loop that up as well. And then set that aside for later. So go ahead and pause the video, make the second foot, and then we will go ahead and move on from there. Now that we have that in place, we can go ahead and create his little bow tie, and that's pretty simple and easy. You're just going to take 2 green bands, coming down once, taking a single band, placing it on the center peg, and then grab it, bring it over, and then take the bottom band pull it onto itself to create a slip knot. Now when you pull it off, just bring your 2 corners together and pull that tight in order to create the bow. And then we want to set that aside for later as well. Now that we've created those things, we can go ahead and start working on our body. So to start, what you're going to do is you're going to take 4 white bands and you want to place them on this capping band here, or on this top peg here. And you want to do the same thing on the left peg. So just take 4 bands and placing those there. You then want to take 2 white bands coming from the center peg to the left, 2 more from the center peg to the right, and then we're going to take the 4 bands that we placed on that peg, pull them up and over, so that they're on these bands before we move on. We want those to be over there. Now you're going to take 4 more bands. We want to place these on the second peg and take 4 more white bands on the second peg on the right, and then taking 2 white bands and coming down, and 2 more and coming down, and then bringing these up and over as well. Just like that. And we are then going to switch to our skin bands. So 2 skin bands coming down from the center, 2 skin bands on the left, 2 more, repeat that on the right, and pulling into the chin peg, and coming down with 2 bands in the center, skin bands. The next one you'll use 2 white to create his little buck teeth, and then finishing off the face with 2 more skin bands. We then want to take 2 bands coming down for the neck, and we are then going to switch to the orange. So taking 2 of my orange bands coming off to the shoulder, and the same thing going to the right. You're then going to come down 4 times with the orange bands. Repeat that on the right side. We are then going to come down the center with dark green bands. So you want 2 bands coming off of the neck peg there. We're then going to switch to 3 green, dark green. And 3 more. And 3 more. We're then going to switch to our light green. So you need 2 of the light green coming down, one's on the left. 2 on the right. You want 3 in the center. We're then going to bring these into the center peg with 2 bands. And 2 more from the left. And 2 to fill in the center. We then want 3 light green bands coming down on the left. And finishing off the bottom with 2 light green bands. We then need 3 on the right. And 2 coming down. We also want to cap this off, creating 3 loops. So 1, 2, 3. And this is what you should have. We can then take a couple of our add-on pieces. So we want to take our feet and attach them down here at the bottom. And our arms will be attached up on the shoulder pegs. Just like that. And in order to attach the hat, what I did for this, if you look, you have your capping band, your original capping band right here. So you can start with that, decide which side you want to be the front of your hat. They generally look the same. So I'm going to take my hook, go through the capping band, and I am going, you actually want to go through the top of that. I'm going to place that on one of my top pegs. Now the other side did not have a capping band, but all you have to really do is find one part of that band. Like I'm going to go through one that's not too visible. So I want to go through these right here, attaching those to the other side, and then pulling the hat up and over the head like so. That's how you would attach the hat to the top of his head. We also need to create his eyes and his nose, and I am actually using 2 white pony beads in order to create the eyes. So to do that, you're just going to take a single skin band, pinch it, and feed it through this band, the bead, and then take the other one side by side and push those through. We then want to attach these from the second peg on the right to the second peg on the left, and we can go ahead, pull those apart. As far as his nose goes, you want to take a single skin, create 4 loops, repeat that again, and one more time. We are then going to pull all of that onto a single doubled skin. Hooking that onto itself like that. And we are then going to pull that onto a single skin. We are then going to place this from the second center peg to the third center peg, just like that, in between, kind of in between the eyes. We then need to place some of our crossover bands. So you're going to take a single skin, double it, coming from the 4th peg down, creating a triangle. We want to place another single double from the 3rd pin down in the triangle formation. Moving on to the body, we're going to be using the orange bands so they don't show through on the side. So you want to take a single orange right below the arms in a triangle, another single orange, another single, another single. We're switching to the light green, so single light green, and a single here as well. And this is what you should have. Once all of this is in place, we need to also create his ears. So in order to do that, take a single skin, create 4 loops. Taking a second one, same thing, 4 loops. Taking a single skin, double it. And then his ears go on the same pegs as the eyes, right here. I want to repeat that again. Single, 4 loops. Take a single, double it. And placing it on the other peg. And then this is what it should look like. Now that we have everything in place, we can go ahead and start looming up. So we want to go in under the feet, grabbing the bottom 2, bringing those up, stopping there. Same thing over here. Then go in under this capping band, grabbing the first 2 bands, bringing those forward. The next 2 go to the left. And then my last 2 here go to the right. And we can then loom up the center. And then looming up on the right. And repeat that on the left. We then want to grab our little bow that we had, and we want to place that on the hook, And we're going to go ahead and create 3 loops like that. We're going to go in under all of these bands, grabbing our neck bands, and we're going to pull that on and then place it here, just like that. We can then go in, grab the first 2 bands coming forward, the next 2 going to the left, and these going to the right. And we can then go ahead and loom straight up the center. Make sure when you're looping through the nose, you want to push the nose through those bands. And then go back down, coming up the side. And repeat that on the other side. Once we've done that, we can take a single white to create our cap or slip knot. Chasing bands. And we want to go pull the hat up, go in under the hat, and pull the bottom part of our slip knot through. And then we can remove him from the loom. And once he's off, we can go ahead through the back, grab our slip knot, pull that through, and then we want to make sure his eyes are showing. And his nose could be sticking out a little too far. You just want to push the nose down in again, if that's the case. And again, my Sharpie has gotten up and walked away. I do have 4 children in my house, so I'm sure one of them have taken off with it. But you then would just place the dot in the center to create the center of the eye. But you can also take this band up here in the hat and hide that. And this band that we slip knotted the hat with, same thing. Just come in here from the side. And hide that. And there's our Mad Hatter. I hope you like him.